Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Green. This is another in my Algebra 2 lessons. We are continuing to work with matrices, okay? And we're going to get closer to the end of this unit, okay? We're working in Unit 6. You should be working on study island things as well. Don't forget, we've got due dates out there that we have to be concerned with. We're going to be looking today at Unit 6, lesson number 10, which is identity and inverse in matrices. Well, identity is just really simple. It's just that. 1, 0, 0, 1. That's the identity matrix. It produces the same thing when you multiply it times a matrix. If it's a 3 by 3 matrix, it's ones all the way down that diagonal, heading top to bottom, left to right. Okay? That works every time as the identity matrix. A multiplication identity matrix. Okay? So, this one says determine the multiplicative identity matrix for this one. What is it asking? It's asking for what am I going to multiply times A that's going to give me back to A? Well, it's real simple. I mean, I'm not trying to trick you with this. It's 1, 0, 0, 1. That is the multiplicative inverse. That is the multiplicative inverse every single time. Okay? And it works both in either direction because we do have the commutative law of multiplication with this. Okay? So, what is an inverse? An inverse is when I multiply two matrices together and I get that multiplicative identity. We get that 0, 1, 0, or 1, 0, 0, 1 matrix back as an inverse of it. Okay? Now, not all matrices have a multiplicative inverse. In fact, only square matrices may possibly have an inverse, but not even all square matrices have an inverse. Okay, we got to be very careful with it and make certain we get them. So, this is asking me to determine whether these matrices are inverses of each other. Here's the simple way. 4 times negative 1/2 plus 4 times 1/2 oh, geez, sorry. Try that again. You make a mistake every once in a while. Okay. So 4 times the negative 1/2, 4 times negative 1/2 plus 2 times 3 over 2. Okay? So this one's going to be negative 2 plus negative 2 plus 3, which is going to be a 1. Okay? So the 4 times 1/2 plus 2 times negative 1. And that's going to be 2 plus negative 1. That's going to give me, let's see here, 2 plus negative 2 is going to give me a 0. Okay? So 6 times negative 1/2 and 2 times 3 over 2. That's going to be a negative 3 plus 3, which is a 0. And 6 times 1/2 is a 3. And 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. That gives me a 1. Gave me back that 0, 1, 0, 1. So yes, these two are inverses of each other. We multiplied them together and got 0, 1, 0, 1. Guarantee you multiply it the other way around, you would get it. Okay? You just got to make certain you know how to multiply the matrices together and you can get that. Okay? So, because these are inverses, I can switch it around either way. I can say B times A or A times B. It doesn't matter which way you go. You're still going to get that two-dimensional inverse identity relationship back. So that's what the community rule tells you about that. Okay? So there's a formula to find the inverse. It's not really as difficult as it sounds. If I find the determinant of this A, and I do 1 over that determinant, and then I swap these two's position and swap these two's position but make them negative, I will find the determinant. I'm sorry, I'll find the inverse. So in other words, let's see here. A inverse is going to be equal to, well, 1 times 3 is negative 3. That's negative 3. Minus 2 times negative 1, that's a negative 2. Minus 2. I'm sorry, minus a negative 2, that's plus 2. Okay? And I'm going to take 1 over that. 1 minus that. That's this part right here. Okay? Times, remember this will be a scalar. This will just be a number. And I'm just going to reverse my numbers around here. Negative 3, 1. And then this one's going to be a negative 2. And this is going to be a positive 1. Okay? Well, let's see here. 3 plus negative 3 plus 2 is a negative 1. So this is going to be a negative 1. So I'm going to be multiplying everything by negative 1. So essentially I'm going to get 3, 2, negative 1, negative 1. And I'm saying that that is an inverse of this original function. So let's just multiply them together. 1 times 3 gives me 3. Negative 1 times negative 1 gives me negative 1. I'm sorry, it gives me a positive 1. So that's 3 plus 1. That didn't work out right. 3 and plus a 1 there. 3 plus 1, that gives me a 4. Didn't work out quite like I wanted it to. Let's back up. See where I made a mistake here. It's negative 3 minus a negative 2. That's plus 2. That's a negative 1. Yes, that's right. Okay? And then we just swap the values around. So my negative 3 comes up here. My 1 goes down there. That's correct. And my C's, oh, you don't swap those. That's what I did wrong. Okay. Backing up here a little bit. Sorry. Backing up just a little bit here. That's wrong. And those are wrong. Okay? All we do is make those negative. You don't swap them. So this one becomes a negative 2, and this one becomes a positive 1. Okay? So that changes this down here. So my inverse function now, A inverse becomes, because I got to multiply it times a negative 1, is 3, 2, 1, 1. 1, negative 1. Okay, trying again. 1 times 3 gives me 3, plus negative 1 times 2 gives me a negative 2. That's going to give me a 1. Okay, I'll buy that. Okay, so 1 times negative 1 gives me a negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 gives me a positive 1. So that's going to give me a 0. Okay, I'm seeing the 1, 0. That's good. Okay, 2 times 3 gives me a 6. And negative 3 times 2 gives me a negative 6. That gives me a 0. That's good. 2 times negative 1 gives me a negative 2. Negative 3 times a negative 1 gives me a 3. So that's going to give me a 1. Good. We got that value. Okay? Good. We found it. Okay? So let's see if we can't do another one real quickly. You know what? Calculator. Bringing up calculator. Second matrix. We're going over to edit. We're going to edit A. We're going to make it a 2 by 2 matrix. 2 by 2. It's 6 minus 5 minus 2 and a 10. Enter. Second. Quit. Second matrix. And we're going to go over to math and we're going to find the inverse of it. No, we're not. Clear. Second matrix, and we want to push A. And then we're going to push this little button here saying inverse. And we're going to press enter. And that is going to give us the inverse function of it. The inverse function of this one is going to be 0.2, 0.04, 0.1, and 0.12. Okay? That is the inverse of this one. Calculator does that for you. Follow these instructions right here. Okay? Appreciate you guys making certain you're always telling me that you're in that you're in algebra 2 so that I can find your records quickly. Okay? Thank you. Talk to you next time.